Good morning, everyone. This morning's topic is spiritual friendship. And it's a rich topic because, as you well know, as human beings, we dwell together with other human beings. We're part of a species. And there are so many different viewpoints and philosophies about what that means. Some say it means we're meant to lean into each other and be interdependent. Others say that we're meant to be more solitary. And I think the most penetrating views have a proper balance of what it means to be in friendship in a way that's life-giving. As we grow in our own wholeness, I'm sure you have found that friends that used to be close maybe faded into the background and new friends came into your horizon to match where you were in your life at that time. And it's so natural when we make a deep connection with somebody to want to go longer and deeper. I know one of my life lessons has been in the realm of relationships and impermanence. I love being in deep friendship. I love being in deep relationship. And over again in my life, I have been in situations where I thought it was for a lifetime, only to find that it wasn't for a lifetime. It was only for a period of time. And at first, I used to resist that. Sometimes I held on to a connection with somebody and a construct of the relationship in such a way that it made things worse. Not doing anything different in the relationship, but just simply not letting go, not accepting that it wasn't meant to be for a lifetime. And it has been a constant learning and learning. It definitely has hit my own deeper fears that have needed healing, fears of being truly alone or abandoned or not being good enough. And so it's been a workplace where the divine has worked with me directly. And Jesus gives us great examples of what we're talking about when we talk about friendship, spiritual friendship. I would say every connection he had a strong spiritual basis to it. And that wasn't to the minimization of the practical pieces of being in life together, but rather was the container in which all the practical happened. So what could that mean for us? Well, let me give you 4 examples of Jesus and friendship. Early on in his accounts that we have of him coming forward and being known as a spiritual teacher, there's a story called The Wedding of Cana. And in this story, he goes with many friends, and his mom is there too, Mary. And at a certain point in the celebration, the party, the groom and the bride, run out of wine. And Mary looks to Jesus to do something about it. Now, Jesus, in my interpretation, plays a little bit with her by saying, well, what does this have to do with me? Which she knows and he knows. There was probably like a little wink between them. And he turned water into wine. He was available for the practical joys of life. He was not a purist when it came to life, in that the material things were a bad thing. His spirituality led him to see that all created engagements that celebrate something that are good can have a good basis. In another occasion, he's very close with 3 individuals, Lazarus and Lazarus' 2 sisters, Martha and Mary. And Lazarus dies, and when Jesus goes, he comes to Mary weeping, and he weeps. He's deeply troubled and touched. And after that, he raises Lazarus from the dead. It doesn't say clearly whether it's the anguish that moves him or simply he had this on his mind to do all along. But he enters into the journey and the path of the people around him. And we have example of this, not just with his close friends, but with anybody. Now, if you'd like to look at that reference, that's Luke 11, so you can take a look at it. Another one, which is a great example for us, is he's walking along and Jesus asks who the Son of Man is. He's in a ministry in an area, and many people see him as a prophet and a messenger and a fulfillment of something. But then he asks his own friends, and Peter says, "You are the Son of the living God." And Jesus sees into Peter's soul and says, "It is upon you that I will build my church," which I think metaphorically means that where there is an acknowledgement of truth, there the church exists. But shortly after that, he begins to talk about his death, that he's going to have to go and be crucified. And Peter says, "Never, Lord, it will never happen to you." Now, Peter's speaking as a friend. Who among us would not speak that way if a loved one or a friend said they were going to die and we wanted to protect them? What does Jesus say to Peter? "Get behind me, Satan. Get behind me." In his friendships at all times, he has his eyes fixed on the truth, and he settles for nothing less. So one paragraph earlier, he's extolling Peter as a leader of a movement. And in the next one, he calls him Satan, because he sees things as they are and he sticks to them. We're called to do that in our own friendships, to see things as they are and to be free enough internally to make a stand for them, not to think of how the person may feel all the time or what may be the proper thing to do, but we stand for the truth. And the last example I have is Jesus at the Last Supper. When the hour came, they gathered around table on the Thursday before his crucifixion. It was a celebration of Passover. And Jesus says the words that are of the greatest tenderness. "With great desire have I desired to eat this Pasch with you." He probably looked tenderly at each one of them, and he meant it as a true union of friends. He was able to be utterly human, and in that he brought the divinity. For after that, what does he do? He offers his own body and his own blood. He spares nothing for his friends. So we too are called to that. We're called to get down and dirty in our spiritual friendships, to spare nothing for the love of the divine, for the love of consciousness, to spare nothing, to be moved, to place ourselves in the service of, to even go so far as to call a friend Satan if they're speaking mistruth, and to give our lives if that's asked of us. So in that, let's begin our morning devotion. I invite you to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, let yourself come close to all those who are friends in your life right now. Let them come into the room and be with you in any constellation. Call them forward as I call my friends forward. And now draw in any friends that you feel connected to from ancient lineages, different times in history. Draw them all into the room with you. And now draw in those that are friends that may not be in physical form at any time in their life, but yet they're still your friends. And if you wish, make a commitment today to let all your friendships be grounded in spiritual truth, whatever that truth is for you. Make a commitment for the love of them, for the love of yourself, for the love of higher good for all. Be willing then to let the chips fall as you make this commitment with and to and for all your friends. And let this psalm, Psalm 133, magnify your intention and commitment this morning. Hine tovu manahai, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine tovu manahai, shevet akim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. La 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. La 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 la. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for us to dwell together. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for us to dwell together. In unity, to dwell in unity. La 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 la. In unity, to dwell in unity. La 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 la. May you walk in the glory of your spiritual friendship today. Wonderful as always to be with you, my friends.